When it comes to painted signs, stencils are a personal favorite, and the ScanNCut makes it so easy. I have got a wooden frame here, perfect for hanging at a campsite or setting on a table. I've also got an SVG file, so as a reminder, the ScanNCut DX models, they can all read SVG files. So to get this, I'm just going to click Retrieve Data, press the little USB drive because that's where I have it, and then I'm going to find the file that I am looking for. There it is, and press Retrieve. It'll just take a moment for it to bring that file in. There it is, that's the one I want. Then I'm going to go into Edit. Now this particular SVG file has a bunch of different parts, so we could move it all around. Because I want it to stay whole, I'm selecting all of them, going to Object, Edit, and Unifying, so that I can now size this. I've already measured my wooden frame, and I know that I want this to be about 11 inches wide. So I have the sizing that I want, and I want all of the pieces obviously to grow together so that the sign makes sense. Once I have this set, I'm ready to cut. I'm just going to press OK. Now I'm going to use some sticker vinyl, some temporary sticker vinyl here. You could use any color, you could use any style. Almost any sticker vinyl will pop off unless it's like an extreme meant for outdoors, very, very strong, special type. So once we have that all set, we are going to load our mat with the vinyl and cut. And the ScanNCut is going to take care of all the hard part for us. So the ScanNCut is going to do all the nitty gritty. There's my little piece of silver vinyl. I'm just using silver because I happen to have a lot of it. Over purchased for a project, as it does happen. Now I'm just going to go ahead and press OK. So once my vinyl is down and my mat is loaded, then I'm going to select Cut, and half cut needs to be turned on so that the vinyl cuts, the backing does not. Here I will show you half cut is on, and press Start. Once it is cut out, and that will take a few minutes, you're going to weed, in other words, remove the vinyl. Now, this is going to be an opposite situation. We are going to remove the design that we do want to transfer. So it's a little bit of reverse weeding, and you'll want to go nice and slow so you get all those little bits and pieces. Once you have fully weeded it, get out your frame. Now in my case, this piece pops out the back. You could also just use a canvas, you could use a wooden board, you could use lots of different things. And we're going to get some transfer material, and we are going to place our design onto the transfer material to transfer all of those beautiful little cuts onto our backing board. And then we will get started. Now the backing board has a thin layer of white paint over it. And I mention this because it's there, it's dried, and it's going to matter only because our next step, once we have placed this with the transfer material and transferred the vinyl, we are going to be painting over. But before we do, you notice that there are some white edges. So the piece of vinyl is not the exact size of the board. We're going to take scraps of vinyl. You could also use masking tape, painter's tape, washi tape, and we're going to cover any bits along the edges. And the reason is, I promise you, you will get paint all over those pieces that are exposed if you don't. As I mentioned before, the base of this has a very thin layer of white paint. We are painting over the entire design with white paint now. What that's going to do is help us get a more crisp lift off of our stencil, so less likelihood of smearing. If it does smear, it would be white because it would be that initial layer. That's just a handy dandy little stencil trick when painting. Now I'm just going to color. You can do many colors, you could do paints, you could do whatever color mediums you would like. Just keep spreading that paint around and coloring the different areas as you would like. Once you are done, let it completely dry. And then if you want to add other things, you could spray. So you could take some color sprays, and you can always change it up as well or keep adding layers. You could also use things like an ink pad and add some texture. If you've got, especially if you've let your paint kind of have some texture to it, add some dimension and funk. Then let that completely dry. Once that is completely dry, we can go ahead and peel off the stencil. I like to start with the outside. I like to start with the outside because I feel like it's like, let me get the outer part set, and then it's easier for me to see all of the little bits and pieces that I need to additionally remove. So just work nice and slow, and you can use scissors or a pick tool to break apart just so that you're not trying to lift all of the pieces at once. Now, for some reason, something doesn't quite work out. Don't freak out. You can always touch it up. You can always adjust. You can always make it work. But once you are done, you're going to pop this back into the frame, or if you were working on a canvas or a wood board, you would just skip this step. And then if you'd like to add any further decoration, you can. What I love about this is this project is so incredibly simple, and yet you get to have a lot of artistic fun. You get to play with all of this creative stuff and have all of this fun. I'm adding a little bit of ribbon here. You could do additional painting. You could add buttons. You could do whatever you would like, to be honest, but we get to play, and the ScanNCut cut all of that out and made that possible so that we could have all of this fun for a custom sign ready to gift or head out into the woods and enjoy. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial.